Hey guys, what a day. It's been a long time since I posted a video, probably like over a week. Some of you guys know that I'm pretty much just had a pledge and I'm just going, doing other things as far as learning about the markets. But anyway, today was a pretty decent day in the sense of, and I'm gonna explain. I didn't like kill it, but today I started off getting beat up a little bit. I was a little down. I had a day off work, so I'm from home trading. So I got a little beat up a little bit. So then what I liked was I stayed strong and I started to battle back through the middle of the day into the end of the day. And I ended up being slightly positive, probably about break even because if you factor in commission. So it was probably a break even day. But the point is, like, I just stayed true to my trading plan and I just battled through the day. And there were some times in there where I took some losses where I could have revenge traded, but I didn't. This is just years of experience and I just stayed true to my strategy and to myself as a trader and I battled back, which I really enjoyed. Um, I've been trading for a while, so sometimes I enjoy days like that. Just because you don't make a lot of money doesn't mean you can't enjoy days like today. So it was a pretty decent day, not far as money wise, but a mental. Just working on my mental game, it was a really good day because if the market can throw this wild choppiness at me, and I can come out slightly on top, it's like a confidence builder. um, you know, which you need some of those days sometime. But another thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm just so some of you guys know, I mentor a few traders, and I never really talk strategy with them because people will look at the market different. But I do give them like pointers and this and this and that. But how I trade, and this is how I trade. And I look at myself. I don't look at myself because I don't use any indicators. Just, well, you can call the tick indicator, just the tick and just the dome. That's all I really use. And I really don't need a chart. I like the chart because it gives us a visual representation of what's going on in the market. So I do use a chart. But how I trade, and I feel like it's a little bit different than most traders, is I look at the market like this. I look at it in the present moment. Whatever the market's doing, meaning like if it's rallying, I'm looking to fade that move. So if the market's rallying and I'm not in the market and I see a good opportunity to fade it, I'm going to fade that move. If the market's trending and it pulls back, I'm looking to get in on a pullback. But what people don't understand is a pullback is, in a sense, is technically almost a counter trend trade. Because a lot of people say, "Oh, trade with the trend," but think about it: if the market's in an uptrend and it pulls back, and you're trying to get in on a pullback, you don't know if that market's going to turn. So what I call myself is I try to trade market turning points, whether that's counter trend or with the trend, meaning on a pullback. So I try to trade market turning points. So if you ever read a Paul Tudor Jones article, he talks about turning points. And that's kind of how I feel like I trade. So like I said, if the market's going up and it's pulling back, I know the trend is up, but hey, if you're taking that pullback, trying to time the market turning point, you're technically in the present moment. You're trading counter trend because you don't know if the market's going to pull up. You don't know if it's going to turn and keep going. So that's where I feel like I'll look at the market different. And I always tell some of the traders that I mentor, I just don't find any edge in these cookie cutter, just plain Jane market patterns that people say work. I just don't. I haven't found. I'm not saying they don't work, but I haven't found the edge in it. And what I found the edge is looking at the dome, like looking at the dome, following the order flow. So what I consider my trading style is order flow, and I'm saying I'm looking at the prices being executed, at this level and that level. And another thing I thought about is, I know traders who trade support resistance, and it doesn't work for me. And I thought about it. The reason why I feel like it didn't work for me and it don't work for others is they have to be honest. When you're trading intraday, there's so many support and resistance levels. I mean, you're looking at levels from overnight. Sometimes you're looking at levels from 3 days ago to those levels. I mean, like, how do you? There's so many levels intraday. How do you really know which level is going to work? And I could never figure that out. So I just completely left that alone because I know traders who are completely frustrated with trying to trade support and resistance. I have a guy right now that's my really good friend, and I'm mentoring him, and I'm trying to get him away from support and resistance because it's just not working for him. Because which level is going to work and which level is not. Now, where I do feel like support and resistance work, if you're going to be an intraday like swing trader, if you're going to look for the bigger move, I feel like it may work then because you're looking at a bigger move. So looking at bigger charts, daily charts, 60-minute charts, monthly charts. Those levels are a little bit easier to see and a little bit smoother and a little bit more visual. So those could possibly work. But if you're intraday trading, I don't know how you can look at a level, overnight level, and then look at levels 3 days. I don't know. It's too many levels within that 3 days that it's just too much. It's too much guessing game when you're trying to trade that way. And my mentor, he was an ex-floor trader, and and just spending hours with him, I talked to him. I said, what was mostly your strategy in the pit? And he would say a lot of times they used to sit around and they should know who the big traders were. So either the big traders stepped in or they know who the brokers were of the big traders. So they would look and see what they were doing and they would piggyback off of that, or they would try to front run it, because they knew who the bigger traders were. You get what I'm saying? So basically what they're trading is order flow. That's kind of, they're just sitting around. A big trader walks into the pit. Okay, they try to either piggyback after he gets executed, or they would try to front run him. That's pretty much was like the floor trader strategy for like locals, smaller traders. And he was a local trading his own capital. So that's what he would talk about. So, and he told me he would have levels that he look at before the day, but if the market gets down to his level and no one's participating, he can't move the market. So he wouldn't buy. He wouldn't buy or sell whatever he's supposed to do at that level. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's why it's so inconsistent. And if you're looking at the dome, what faster, what leading indicator can you see? If you look on a dome, you're seeing big orders get executed and the market's starting to bid. So I mean, you can piggyback off that if you know what to look for in a dome. Now the dome takes a long time to really understand, but once you understand it, you're golden, So but that's what he used to talk about. He said, and just because of a big time floor trader, just because they buy and you try to piggyback off of them or you try to front run them, doesn't mean this big trader is always going to be right, because they're wrong too. They're going to get ran over just like anyone else. So and when you're trading, that happens. Sometimes I see big orders come in, I'll try to piggyback off of it, I'll get ran over, I'll take a loss, and I'm out. And that's kind of what happens sometimes in basic training. That happened to him. That happened to, no one's right 100% of the time. So that's why I always feel like I look at the market a little bit different. And if you're struggling, start looking at the market different. Don't keep going down the same path of the same strategy you're using, and you keep struggling because you look at something different. Something different may speak to you in a different way. And going back to my mentor, it's just interesting that he talks like that, and I tell him how I trade now. He tells me all the time, like, the new floor is the dome. Like I said, what information, like, when I look at the dome and I see big orders and I look at the chart sometime, it's like the chart is after the fact. Even if you're looking at a 1 minute chart, it's like the chart is after these orders been executed when I'm watching them on the dome. So it's like, if you want a leading indicator, there you go. You look at the dome. So that's how I just feel like I look at the market a little bit different. I don't consider myself a pure price action trader. I really don't even consider myself a technical trader. I'm just a order flow trader. And sometime when I look on a chart, I do take pullbacks because that's kind of the language of technical analysis and when I'm trying to explain it to people. But in essence, I'm really just playing the order flow, whether it's a pullback or it's a counter trend. So that's how I view the market. And I think if you're struggling, start looking at the market a little bit different. See if it makes sense to you this way. And so I'm not here to bash anyone's strategy. What I am saying is look at the market a little bit different. Maybe that will help. So guys, if you have any questions, just let me know.